Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Gnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamasya Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Welcome to all for this session on Sree Guru Charitra to chapter 21. In the previous chapter, we were listening to the story of a Brahmani who lost five of her child because of a Brahmahatya that was committed by her in her previous birth. And then later, on advice of a Brahmin astrologer, she came to the Audumbara tree and served Sri Guru with a due respect and honor as well as a great devotion. Later, Sri Guru blessed her to have two more kids, and out of those two children, one's younger child come across with had been attacked by tetanus, and the child was killed. And with a dead child, she is mourning and she is not ready to perform the funeral rites for the child. She is begging Sri Guru to bring back the child to the life because in the past Sri Guru promised her that her children will going to live for 100 years. Now Sri Guru himself came in the form of a brahmachari sannyasi and he is speaking to her. That sannyasi or brahmachari, he said, you are mourning in vain. He who has come to birth in this world has to die. How long can last the foam of a bubble in the water? This body is made of five principles, and when they are separated, the body also perishes. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas are the three qualities of those principles. Sattva begets God, Rajas begets human beings, and Tamas begets the demon. Man does good and bad actions, and accordingly he gets enjoyment or suffering in the next birth. Being deluded by affection and greed, men have pleasures or miseries. They are dependent on the actions of the previous birth. Even gods and rishis have to suffer. Only is not grieved at death. When a female is pregnant, in the beginning the fetus has no shape, but it develops and comes to birth, and it is therefore evident that it will perish one day. Just like the way how the fetus in the womb of a female takes the shape over a period of time. From being something that is insignificant, it grows into a baby. In the same way, at the end, it again returns back and perish into this world. The body is like a bubble in the water. Some die in childhood, some in youth, and some in old age as per actions of the past life. But due to affection, it is said that she is the mother, he is the father, son, wife, friend, and so on. The body appears to be clean, but it is full of flesh, blood, urine, and filth, etc. As one comes to birth, one's enjoyment and suffering are destined. No one has won victory over death. One sees treasure in dream, but of what use can it be in practical life? You had many lives in different yonis, that is, species, for example, animals, birds, worms, human being, etc. But how many of these can you recollect? If you had been a human being, can you tell me whose wife or daughter you had been in the past, in your previous life? If you cannot know this, why do you mourn, saying, my son, because he is your son only in this birth, and somebody else was your son in the previous birth, and somebody else was your husband or wife in your previous births? You give the corpse to the Brahmins for the purpose of funeral. Hearing the advice of the sannyasi, the Brahmani said, you have advised me but I'm not satisfied. And if the fate is unchangeable, why one should then adore God? If iron is not transformed into gold by the touch of the Paris, that is a philosopher's stone, what is its significance? Being unfortunate, I adored being unfortunate because she herself had committed something, and because of that reason, she already lost five children. And because of those reasons, I adored Sri Guru. If one has fever, then one goes to a physician and seeks relief by his medicine. Sri Nrasimha Saraswati is the incarnation of three murtis, that is, three gods. He blessed us by giving us sons with long lives. How can it be untrue? In the circumstances why this calamity should befall me, therefore I have decided to give up my life. Hearing her decision, the sannyasi said, Sri Guru has blessed you to have sons having long lives, and still your son has died. Then you should better go to the place of Audumbara with your dead child. Being encouraged in this fashion, she tied the body of her son at her back and came to Audumbara tree. She dashed her head at the padukas and began to mourn. As the night was approaching, the Brahmins again asked for the dead body, but she refused to give. The Brahmin said the body will emanate foul odor tomorrow and then she will have to give it. Saying this, they went home. Only the parents remained there with the dead body of the child. Later on, after midnight, the parents fell drowsy and got a nap due to exhaustion. In her dream, she saw a person with vibhuti marks on the body, a wreath of rudraksha around the neck, a trishul in the hand, and a tiger skin on the body. He said to her, Why are you blaming me and mourning? What ails your son? Saying so, he applied bhasma or vibhuti on the forehead of the son, opened his mouth and blew air into the dead body by his own mouth. Thus, oxygen was infused in the body in that particular dead body. The result was that the boy began to move his limbs and came to life. At first sight, the mother was frightened. She thought that one sees in one's dream whatever is in one's mind. But as she awoke, she found that the body was making movement and his body was warm. At first, she placed the boy away out of fear, but the boy sat and asked for something to eat as he was hungry. She took him to her breast. Milk came out profusely from her paps. Then she gave up fear and was delighted. She aroused her husband, both bowed to the padukas of Sri Guru and prayed, Kindly forgive us for our harsh words. They took rounds of tree and went for bath. After bath, they washed the blood on the padukas and worshipped them with great devotion. By this time it was morning. The Brahmins came there again for the funeral, but they were wonderstruck to see the child alive. All were glad to see this miracle and praised the greatness of Sri Guru. Thus ended chapter 21 of Sree Guru Charitra, in which we see the miracle being performed as part of Sri Guru Mahima, wherein the dead child was brought back to life in order to keep up with the promise made by Sri Guru that her child will going to live for 100 years. Namaste Sharada Devi Kashmir Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam Vidya Danancha Dehi Me. Goodbye.